As we're approaching the end of October 2023, my God, there is no good news on the horizon. October has been filled with closures, has been filled with layoffs, and the situation is not getting any better. So today's video, let's just go over some of the bad news that we've heard over the course of October, and hopefully November will be a lot better, but let's go over some of the bad that has happened in October. So first things first, we'll talk about Flexport cutting 950 employees, and that was the first bad news that we heard in October. So the same week that Flexport cut 950 jobs, Michigan-based Sunset Logistics ceases operation. So the exact same week, we got 90 trucks stranded, truck drivers and office personnel who worked at Titan Transportation Services Inc. doing business as Sunset Logistics. They were out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Towards the middle of October, you have a 40-year-old Montana trucking company and freight brokerage shuttering operations. Meadowlark Transport Inc. of Billings, Montana had 273 drivers and 337 power units at the time of its closure. FMCSA data states that the company's brokerage authorities was involuntarily revoked on August 15th, and its contact carrier authorities is slated to be canceled on October 28th. It's unclear why the 40-year-old company was forced to shut down its doors. However, some motor carriers that hauled brokered loads for Meadowlark claim they have been fighting to get paid for months. All right, so I mean, a little bit behind why these companies are going under. I think we talked about it. Currently, to run a mile, okay, the rate per mile, you need about $2.25. The national average is under $2.25. So a lot of these trucking companies are currently running at a loss. And if you're not moving those wheels, you're not bringing in cash flow. And if you're not bringing in cash flow, you're getting stranded without being able to pay for all these expenses. There's a lot that's happening and a lot of pressure that's happening on trucking companies, and therefore they're folding one by one. Trucking companies are starting to go down. So cash is king, and that's correct. For those that have a good positive cash flow and have positive numbers in their bank accounts, they are able to survive and ride this out. For those that have a lot of debt, those are the companies that are going to go under over the next 6 months. So how much longer is this going to last? I can't tell you. What I know is that the situation has not gotten any better, and we're seeing these constant articles popping up. The cross-border carriers are suffering just as bad, if not worse. The US carriers are also suffering a lot. Now also, let's not forget that those that have purchased equipment last year, they bought equipment at all-time highs. Trucks, trailers, flatbeds, reefers. I mean, the prices were outrageous for them. And today, as the prices are starting to come down, it is putting more pressure on you. So a lot of trucking companies are faced with the decision is, you know, if I purchased 10 trailers last year and I purchased these trailers at $65,000, well, today I can get, you know, brand new trailers probably for around $55,000. So I'm upside down on those 10 trailers that I bought last year or the year before last year. And you can actually find a steal right now. You know, if you're sitting on money and you're able to pick up 10, 20 brand new pieces of equipment, you will get them even at, you know, I've seen them in the high 40s, and there are some great deals out there. The problem is that people are still stuck with their bad deals, paying high interest rates on them, and they are finding that they cannot come out of the situation. So many owner-operators, so many small fleets of 2, 3, 4 power units, and owner-operators that are running their own authorities have shut down their doors and just came into a bigger fleet because they can no longer run. The expenses are too high and they can no longer afford to run their fleets. You need to know your cost per mile. And in a lot of my consultations, we go over that cost per mile in detail. We come up with that number, and then we talk about, you know, is it realistic for that person to survive right now if this was to carry out for the next 3 or 4 months? Or we come up with a game plan of how to survive over the next 3 or 4 months. So if you have 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, you really need to know what your cost per mile is and how you're going to survive these next 3 or 4 months. Is it going to get better? I mean, usually November and December are really good months in trucking, transportation, logistics. I don't know what's headed our way, and I'm really afraid for January and February because I don't know what's going to happen if it's this bad, if it's not going to start picking up real soon. I think there's going to be a lot more articles like this, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more bad news coming out. So for those of you that are getting delayed, for those of you that are getting, you know, laid over, for those of you that have waiting time in between the pickup and the delivery, this is all common right now. This is all normal, and it's happening across the board, literally to everybody. If you're working for a company that you're still getting the miles that you used to get, consider yourself lucky. So just be patient. patient, hang in there. You know, jumping from company to company might not save the situation, because you might go into another company that has the exact same situation, because all the trucking companies are feeling it right now as freight volumes decrease. A lot of them are fighting over work, and literally they're doing the same job for a lot less money. Now, if you do need help in these difficult times, 1/3 of my day actually goes on consultations, consulting owner operators, consulting small fleets, consulting drivers that want to purchase their own trucks so they don't make that mistake. You know, I am available. You're more than welcome to reach out to me at sponsorship@ettransport.ca. I'm extremely responsive to that email address, and if you need my help, feel free to reach out to me. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I'll keep you updated with what's happening on the news, and hopefully we will have much better news at the end of November when I do another recap like this. I'm Ronen, Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.